What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes, and this is going to be my comprehensive analysis and review of the legendary female Byleth banner, and I'll be rating all of these units based on their performance as well as their fodder, and I'll also be talking about the FE Pass changes that they have done. But first of all, I'm going to be taking a look at legendary female Byleth. So she's here as a wind pair up legendary unit and she's a blue infantry mage. She is pretty similar to legendary male Byleth in many ways, but at the same time she's also different with her support. She's got Professorial Guide as the preferred weapon, which provides her with -1 special cooldown, making Ruptured Sky a one-turn special. This weapon is always going to be active in the player phase, and in the enemy phase for its activation, you need to be within 2 spaces of an ally. If those conditions are met, then she can get +5 to all of her stats and also get Null Guard effect and Null Special Acceleration. This is a very powerful effect because, for example, if she's facing someone like Fallen Edelgard who has got Armored Wall, then Fallen Edelgard cannot retaliate back with a bonfire, and she's also not going to be stopping the special charge of legendary female Byleth. So Byleth is going to be able to trigger Ruptured Sky on her double attack and easily killing something like Fallen Edelgard. And this could be applied to Special Fighter Brave Hector as well, who's incredibly common. And in general, a lot of tanks use Special Fighter skills or guard effects and stuff like that. So she doesn't really care about the guard effects, and she also stops the special acceleration of the opponents through skills like Heavy Blade, Flashing Blade, Special Fighter, Steady Breath, stuff like that. And if this effect was not already so good on her, she can also provide this effect to allies within 2 spaces. So similar to how legendary male Byleth has got Drive Null follow-up in his weapon, female Byleth has got Drive, Null Guard, and Null Special Acceleration in her weapon. So she can basically provide that to the allies, and that can prove to be really annoying because if she's within 2 spaces of an ally, then they can just attack units like Brave Hector, Fallen Edelgard, all of these tanks for free and not really take the retaliation of something like Bonfire. And it could be really annoying if you're facing a legendary female Byleth on an Aether Rage defense team or an arena team and you're using a Gale Force unit, then you cannot really trigger your Heavy Blade or Flashing Blade to hit and run by using Gale Force. So not only this kind of drive effect can help her allies not care about the guard effects and the special acceleration of the opponent on tanks, but also against the aggressive strategies like Gale Force, it is going to be proving to be really useful. Then she has got Ruptured Sky, and Ruptured Sky, we have seen this on Byleth, she doesn't really get Sublime Heaven, so she cannot really pierce through the damage reduction like legendary male Byleth can. And in that sense, I feel like legendary male Byleth is going to be a bit better nuker than female Byleth, but still female Byleth has got really unique support in her weapon. And Ruptured Sky cannot really be pre-charged because she's got Goddess Bearer as her slotsy skill, so you cannot really run Time Pulse. And Goddess Bearer is also another really solid skill. So this skill can buff up female Byleth for +7 attack and speed at start of combat if she's within 2 spaces of an ally. So that will just activate her ideal skill immediately. And then it also provides her with the Null follow-up effect and Orders buff, so she can teleport to any kind of ally within 2 spaces. So even though she's an infantry unit, her mobility is boosted by this kind of warping or teleportation effect. So she can make for a really strong offensive threat and also provide a really good support to her allies. So overall, legendary female Byleth is going to be a really solid unit. She's got attack speed ideal and lull speed resistance to maximize her offensive power, and the ideal skill does have really good synergy with her slotsy skill. So overall, even though there is legendary male Byleth, I don't really think legendary female Byleth is any kind of pushover, even though she looks kind of similar to him. She just provides you with a different kind of support, which is also really unique, and the teleportation effect can be really annoying to play her against because she could just, you know, teleport and bop your unit, and that could be really annoying and costing you like a tactical retreat in arena. So definitely a really strong effect, both defensively and even offensively, you know, against the tanks and also against the Gale Force units. As for my stat speculation, I definitely expect her to have a stat spread similar to this, just geared in her speed and attack. She might have a bit less attack than legendary male Byleth, which again is going to be making him a bit better nuker, but still legendary female Byleth is also a very good unit. So legendary male Byleth does not have the Null Guard effect and the Null Special Acceleration, but female Byleth on the other hand also does not have the Sublime Heaven special, which is much better for nuking as it has also got the damage reduction piercing effect. So there are definitely differences between both of the legendary Byleths, but both of them are really strong in their own right, and they're also different colors, so they can fill like different niches depending on the support that you want. And the way you can beat her is probably by speed stacking your unit a lot so that she doesn't trigger her special and she cannot really double you because she doesn't have the pre-charge special like legendary Male Byleth. So her first attack is not going to be a special most of the time. Unless the opponent is running something like legendary Hector, then she can have that. And speed stacking is basically the way of beating her, but she can obviously get so fast with her base kit alone. And her base kit is quite fine, but there are definitely some changes that you can make. So you could run attack speed unity because she's going to be buffing herself with the Slotsy skill. So if she gets panicked or she gets targeted by Shrine debuffs or Chill debuffs, then she can basically use those debuffs in the combat and power herself. So attack speed unity is going to be pretty nice, and it does have good synergy with her teleportation. You can also run Wind Sweep on her because I feel like she needs Wind Sweep a lot more than legendary Male Byleth, because legendary Male Byleth can have a pre-charge special and just, one-shot a lot of things, but legendary female Byleth is going to be triggering her special on her double attack with Ruptured Sky. So that's why getting that safety with Wind Sweep is going to be really good against, a lot of the physical threats. There's of course going to be Ascended Fjorm, who does have Null Counter Disrupt in her weapon, and she also has Ice Mirror. So she's definitely a unit that legendary female Byleth has to watch out for, especially because Fjorm also has the weapon strangle advantage. And then for her Sacred Seal, just something offensive like Blade Session or Attack Speed Bond is going to be fine. Ruptured Sky is also nice for nuking, but you can always run other options like maybe Moonbow or run Luna with Flashing Blade, so you could get creative if you want to run some other skills on her. But her base kit and just few extra skills are going to be doing the job, like Wind Sweep for example. Byleth's fodder is also really solid in Attack Speed Ideal 4, Lull Speed Resistance, and also Ruptured Sky. You can actually inherit Attack Speed Ideal 4 with Ruptured Sky or with Lull Speed Resistance if you fodder off a Miriel, and we recently got Miriel, so yeah, she came in the right time, and she can definitely help you make better use of your legendary female Byleth if you want to fodder her off. And now let's talk about the FE Pass changes. So Sparking is going to be available for the legendary and mythic banners, but it is going to be limited to the FE Pass subscribers. So Sparking is basically when you can get a guaranteed 5-star unit after 40 summons, and that is incredibly useful on these kinds of legendary and mythic banners where it's really hard to get the one specific unit you want because of the color sharing and the brutal rates. So this has been a very heavily requested feature by pretty much everyone because of how hard it can be on these banners, but sadly this feature is only locked to the FE Pass subscribers, and this kind of sparking is also extended to the other banners. And as you can see, I've basically summarized the new changes. So far every player has got the access to sparking on the New Heroes banner, the Forging Bond Revival banner, and Legendary Hero Remixes. Revival, which they mean in that graphic, is basically going to be implying the Forging Bond reruns that we get from Twitter. But from now on, FE Pass users can additionally get a guaranteed 5-star Spark Summon on the new seasonal banners. And those seasonal banners usually have duo units and harmonic units, and they can also spark on the Double Special Heroes banner. Again, those are also filled with harmonic units, duo units, and also a lot of rare seasonal units. And finally, these legendary and mythic banners, which have 12 units on them, and again, it's really hard to get one specific unit. Sparking is still not going to be available for the seasonal revival banners, the weekly revival banners, skill focus banners, voting gauntlets, and also the Tempest Trial banners. So for example, you cannot still spark for a year 1 seasonal unit, and this is only going to be applied to the new seasonal banners. They have also mentioned that if you have done 40 summons on a banner that is eligible for sparking without using the FE Pass, then it is still going to be keeping the count of the summons that you have done. So if you buy FE Pass after you have done the 40 summons, the 5-star guaranteed summon is going to be immediately going to be available. So it pretty much retroactively keeps the count of the summons you have done on these kinds of banners. So you don't need to have FE Pass from the start if you want to get the sparking on any kind of banner. So this kind of thing is definitely going to be increasing the value of FE Pass, no doubt about that. It provides you with tremendous value now, but unfortunately, it's not going to be available for free-to-play players. I really wish that the execution was a bit different so that this could still be a feature in the FE Pass, but maybe for free-to-play players, it would have taken them more summons. Like for FE Pass users, it takes them 40 summons to get the spark, and maybe for free-to-play players, they could have done so that it would have taken them maybe like 60 or even like 80 summons. At least just the option of sparking on these kinds of legendary and mythic banner would have been amazing for the people who do not have FE Pass. And they could have also done like a different take where Maybe FE Pass users could have multiple sparks, and players without FE Pass only have one spark. So in my opinion, that kind of execution would have been a bit nicer, and you would still provide the value with the FE Pass because it is going to be a bit easier for the FE Pass users. But as it stands now, only people with FE Pass can spark on these banners. And there's still a psychological aspect to this because if a player has done like 10 or 20 summons, they might think, okay, let me summon a bit more till I can spark on this banner. Or if they were not going to summon on a banner, that counter is still going to be telling them that you can get a guaranteed 5-star unit after 40 summons. So even though you can get that guaranteed 5-star unit, at the end of the day, you're still going to be using your orbs. So it is pretty much that way of incentivizing you to summon more. I'm actually surprised that they have not made this kind of like loyalty perk or anything like that. Like you can only get sparks after like 6 months or something. Because they have been, trying to increase the value of FE Pass. And I'm not even surprised by this at this point because it's a gacha game. Every single thing done in this game is to sell you something, like a game mode or a character or something. But it's just that this could have been executed a bit properly, but this is 100% a business move because they are trying to keep the players who have got FE Pass from not unsubscribing. So they're trying to provide them with the value and also, trying to get newer people to get the FE Pass because of how brutal these legendary and mythic banners, can be and how much heavily requested this kind of sparking edition has been for these banners. But still again, it's kind of sad that they didn't really execute it in a way that maybe even free-to-play players or the players who do not have FE Pass could get something, even though it was a bit harder for them, because that's how it has been most of the time. Like there's going to be that disparity between a player who doesn't pay anything and a player who spends money on this game. And this is going to be a change which is going to be again widening the gap between the paying players and also the players who do not pay, because you can get the one-off copy and you can save so many orbs instead of trying to chase after that one legendary or mythic unit, because 99th percentile is a thing on these banners where people can spend like 900 to like 1000 orbs only to get a single copy of the unit that they actually wanted. And now they can just stop after 150 orbs when they have got the 40 summons done and they've sparked the unit that they wanted. So it saves them a lot of the orbs in the long run if they had gotten unlucky trying to get that one copy. And at the end of the day, people who are going to be wailing super hardcore, it doesn't really change them much because they still were just wailing. So this is just like one extra copy for them. So that cost has been reduced a bit, but this is mainly aimed towards like low spenders in my opinion, as they call dolphins, I guess. So these changes definitely increase the value of FE Pass, the things that it provides to you in the cost, and there's absolutely no denying that. Again, I just wish that these things were implemented in a way that free-to-play players could also access the sparking, even if it took them more summons. So that is just the FE Pass changes summarized, and now let's move on to the other units present on this banner. And because this is the first legendary banner with Spark, it is of course going to be really stacked. So Brave Eirika herself is sharing colors with legendary female Byleth. Brave Eirika is pretty much one of the best units in the entire game because she is a cavalry unit, has got fantastic mobility, and her preferred skill and her preferred weapon make her a really strong opponent. So she's got effective damage against armored and cavalry units with her weapon, and she also gets the 30% damage reduction from her weapon, which can definitely make her deceptively bulky. Not only that, Moonlight Bangle is an extremely strong preferred skill, which gives her a Canto, and it also has Null Guard built into it, and it also gives you true damage based on foe's defense, so she can just be a really effective tank buster. So there are not too many units who can live her, especially when they're not green, because she can nuke with her special with the true damage and then also have the Null Guard effect and also heal up HP with the Surge Sparrow. Speaking of Surge Sparrow, she does have that as fodder along with Attack Speed Menace, which you could inherit at the same time. So she's really versatile as a unit, easily one of the best units in the game, and also provides you with some really strong fodder. Seiros is a Anima Mythic unit who can open up the 7th slot and Ether Raid's defense, and she can be pretty bulky because of Dragon Wall and her preferred weapon, which can provide her with the follow-up negation and also provide her with some extra bulk. And she can basically deny the follow-up of the enemy in the player phase as well with her Mirror Impact. Wings of Light is going to be a pretty nice skill, especially if you run other mythic units like Thrasier, Lif, or Duma, because Wings of Light is going to be increasing their stats depending on the turns that have passed. So overall, in my opinion, she is like a must-have for Ether Raid's defense for opening up the 7th slot, especially if you do not have Odor. So you just need some kind of 7-slot unit in Aether Raid's defense to be competitive, and Seiros has been available many times, so she may be a dud for many people, but still she is really good, and she also provides you with some good fodder in Dragon Wall and Mirror Impact. Though I would say that there are not too many units who would like to have both of these skills at the same time. Dragon Wall is mainly going to be used on dragon units for enemy phase potential, and then Mirror Impact is mainly a player phase skill. Along with Brave Eirika, Yuri is also one of the best units in the entire game, and I feel like if you have played Summoner Duels enough, you already know that because he is extremely good in that game mode, and just in general in any kind of game mode he's going to be super powerful because his weapon provides him with -1 special cooldown, gives him extra movement, so despite being an infantry unit he can move 3 spaces, and it also has Canto built into it. And then he's got Foul Play, which is a 3 range swap, and that gives him a lot of utility. Yuri can be an extremely powerful unit in the hands of a player, especially in Summoner Duels, and also in Aether Raid's offense with Safety Fence, so you can do a lot of hit and run plays with Yuri. And because he's a dagger unit, you can run Disarm Trap in, Aether Raids, and then even in Summoner Duels he can be a big menace because he can have a pre-charge AoE build or just have lethality that can pierce through a lot of the far save tanks as well. So he is extremely strong. The Canto, the Foul Play utility just make him easily one of the best units in the entire game, and probably the best unit in Summoner Duels in my opinion. So not only he's a good unit, but he can also provide you with some good fodder in Sea Duel Infantry 4 and Time Pulse. If you do not have an extra Loki, then you cannot really inherit both of these skills at the same time. So most of the time people might be using him for Time Pulse or just for Sea Duel Infantry 4. Still a pretty nice fodder. Brave Marianne is a really strong colorless unit who can provide you with dance with her special. So she might not appear to be the most impressive unit, but still she's pretty strong, especially if you use her in the aggressive playstyles like Aether Raid's offense with Gale Force teams or just with aggressive teams in general. And I would say that even though she's good, she's not for everyone because not everyone is going to be having that kind of playstyle. I personally use her a lot in my Aether Raid's offense team for Astra season, and I use her a lot with the Gale Force team. So the fact that she is a 2-range unit who can hit the magical bulk of the opponent makes her really unique for any kind of Gale Force team. And Phantasm Tome just helps her offensively and also gives her a lot of damage reduction, so her bulkiness is off the charts in the player phase. And then Requiem Dance can simply dance up any kind of ally with the highest HP who is within 2 spaces of Marianne if she triggers this special. But unfortunately they're going to be getting their movement restricted to 1 space, which can still be played around with Wings of Mercy or just with teleportation of the Otter's effect. So like I said, she's really strong, she's really good personally from my experience, but I can also agree that she's not going to be fit into everyone's playstyle. She also provides you with some incredible fodder in attack speed unity and null follow-up, which you could inherit at the same time. Time Pulse is also there, but most of the time she's going to be foddered off for those 2 skills. And those 2 skills are just so universally useful. Attack Speed Unity is going to be active in both phases, and it also protects your unit from debuffs from a Shrine Structures, from Chilled skills, and also Attack Speed Menace, so it makes for a really good skill. And finally, Ashe is there to complete the colorless pool. She's also an incredibly strong unit. Everyone does get 1 free copy of her, but because she is a mythic unit in the light season who opens the 6th slot, extra merges on her is always going to be really important if you want to score higher and rank better in Aether Raid's offense. And even though we have got Dagger and Uller who can open up the 6th slot, I still think that Ashe is going to be a better mythic unit because of the support that she provides with opening Retainer, providing you with insane teleportation shenanigans, and the fact that she herself is also really bulky with Horn of Opening. Even outside of Aether Raids, in Summoner Duels she's also an incredibly strong unit because of how bulky she can be and how she can help you increase your threat range with the teleportation that she can provide. She basically provides you with 2 space guidance, which can also help you bypass the annoying terrains, the structures, and even walls. So there are a lot of options that Ashe can open up as a support unit, and even herself she can function really well in combat with her weapon and her optimized stat spread. Her fodder is also really good with attack defense unity and lull attack defense, which you could inherit at the same time. Gatekeeper is a really unique support unit in the game right now with his detailed report, which is like a super obstruct, and it is able to stop the teleportation skills like teleportation from Wings of Mercy, Brattle Katria, Otter's buff, and even Ashe who provides you with the teleportation. So for example, in Ether Raid's defense, Bridal Katria is a really common unit, and their Gatekeeper can certainly provide you with the value by stopping the teleportation, so that is going to be his main job. He himself is not the strongest unit and not the strongest nuke. He needs to run Quick Repose Sacred Seal in order to even double in the enemy phase, but he's mainly going to be used for his support with his slot B skill. Gatekeeper's fodder is really good because you can pretty much inherit all of the premium skills at the same time with Harsh Command Plus, Close Reversal, and Joint Drive Defense. Close Reversal is basically a better close counter, providing you with extra defense, and unlike Close Foil, it also lets you just counter attack to the dragons as well. Legendary Male Byleth is also present, and like I mentioned in my Legendary Female Byleth section, he is going to be a really strong nuke because of Sublime Heaven piercing through the damage reduction, and as a support unit he's also really good providing you with the drive null follow up, and he can just run Wind Sweep to be a really annoying unit, and Time Pulse can give him the pre-charge special. As for fodder, he provides you with Attack Defense Ideal, Lull Attack Resistance, and Time Pulse. Unfortunately, as of making this video, you cannot really inherit all of these skills at the same time. When we get a unit with Attack Defense Ideal 3 in the normal summoning pool, then you could inherit like multiple premium skills on him, and that will increase his fodder value. But as of right now, you could only inherit one of these skills at a time. Freyja is a light mythic unit, and even though her weapon has got damage reduction and distant counter built into it, I feel like using her just for the enemy phase is not gonna be cutting it many times, because even after the damage reduction, her bulk is not the most impressive. So mostly Freyja is going to be used in the player phase offensively with Gale Force or for hit and run by using a Neo Trace skill in her slot B. I feel like Freyja has definitely gotten a bit better after Safe Defense because she can run a Trace skill and also run Heavy Blade for running Gale Force build, and I've certainly used Freyja quite a lot with my Gale Force teams as you've seen in my videos, but still she's not going to be one of the best light mythics in my opinion like Ashe or Peony. She is going to be useful, but there are definitely going to be other mythics who can provide you with more support. Freyja herself is basically a combat-oriented mythic who doesn't really provide you with any kind of support. Freyja's fodder is okay. She provides you with attack speed solo and pulse smoke, and attack speed solo is present on so many units, so it's not really all that unique. And pulse smoke is a pretty nice option for slot C, but mainly it's going to be useful for something like Ether Raid's offense, and there are definitely other slot C skills that you can run over pulse smoke. Brave Marth is easily one of the best sword infantry units in the entire game because of so many things that he can do with his Genesis Falchion and also Shining Emblem. So Genesis Falchion can provide him with null follow up, Vantage, and also self-healing, and then he can also run a damage reduction skill in the slot B. So he pretty much has everything that he can want for a sword infantry unit with the extra effects, and Shining Emblem is a really strong special that scales off his speed and also buffs him up for all of his stats and can support his allies as well. He can also provide you with some really good fodder in Distant Pressure and Spurn, which you could inherit at the same time. Even Tempest is also an option, but most people are going to be using him for his slot A and slot B skill. Legendary Lilina is a very strong cavalry nuke because of Studied Foreblaze and Gifted Magic. So Studied Foreblaze will have pre-charged Gifted Magic, and she can just loop her specials, and it also has Hardy Bearing built into it, so she doesn't really care about, Vantage and stuff like that. And Gifted Magic, even though it's a slightly weaker version of an AoE special, it's still really strong with her attack stat, especially when you optimize her build with Life and Death. Her fodder is alright, it doesn't really provide you with some really impressive stuff. Attack Rest Solo is mainly going to be useful for slow mages, and Sabotage Resistance is present on Solon, and Pulse Smoke is mostly useful for tanks and stuff in Ether Raid's offense. The final unit of this banner is going to be Lif. Unfortunately, Lif is not the most impressive mythic unit for Ether Raid's defense because he's way too honest with his playstyle. He is a melee unit, and he doesn't really have any kind of degenerate stuff that the other mythics have, like Note for example in the Dark Season, and even Seiros provides you with some more support by opening up the 7th slot and has got Wings of Flight. Lif on the other hand doesn't provide you with any kind of utility or support, and he's completely combat centric. Lif is mainly going to be used in his bonus season in Ether Raid's defense where he can be a lot more bulky, and especially if you have got Seiros, then he can get the extra stats which are much appreciated by him. And Lif provides you with some incredible fodder in Distant Counter and Time Pulse, which you could inherit at the same time, and these are such universally useful skills that so many units can make use of them, and that makes him a really solid fodder unit even though he's not the greatest Anima mythic unit. Overall, this banner provides you with some solid value on all of the colors, either with the unit strength or the fodder, and of course it has got all of the chooser legends for units, so for the people who want to merge them up and also get the other units which are desirable in those colors, can have a really good time summoning on this banner. Even though the blue pool has got female Byleth and Brave Eirika, the colorless pool is also extremely stacked because of Yuri, Ashe and Marianne. Despite its value, some units may be duds for many people because they do not provide them with that much value, but still they can provide you with some kind of fodder. Here are the upcoming banners that you can consider if you're trying to summon on the Legendary Byleth banner. I believe that the moment we get the data mine for her, we're also going to be knowing all of the units from the upcoming New Year banner, so you can just scout if you want to summon on that banner or not, and the revivals are going to be there for the previous years of the Christmas and New Year banners. We're also going to be getting a Forging Bonds revival for the Fallen banner featuring Fallen Edelgard, and it is going to be having Spark as well. And then next month we're going to be having a new Heroes banner on 7th January. And then in the late January we're going to be having a Legendary Hero Remix banner featuring Legendary Lilina and Legendary Eirika, who are going to be getting their remixes and may even get their refines. Next month is going to be a Mythic Hero banner, and these are the units which are confirmed. We are also going to be having probably some kind of green colored Dark Mythic unit, because Dark Mythic is kind of overdue by now, so look forward to that if you care about that for Aether Raid's defense. So I hope you all enjoyed my in-depth review. If you did, then make sure to share this video with your friends if they're thinking of summoning on this banner, and if you enjoyed, then make sure to leave a like and a comment. Helps me tremendously, and if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more FE analysis videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as guard against Legendary female Byleth. And with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.